over the edge. Feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless. Burning the bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm feeling fearless. Exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance. Not the life I want to live, I want to take it all. Standing tall, fear outweighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, anywhere you are in the world. Welcome back to the stream. Good to have you all here. It's going to be a good one today. I'm going to be going over a little bit about Parabolic trend trades. Before I get started, can everybody hear me okay? Everybody see me all right? This thing needs to get fixed. What's going on with this? There we go. Good stuff. All right. Before I get started, this is not financial advice. The information on this channel is provided for educational information purposes only without any express warranty or implied warranty of any kind. Please go through, make sure you read through this this little disclaimer here. That way you know this is not financial advice. This is all for educational purposes only. Good to have you all here. Jared, Antonio, Bill, Bob, Tony, Gina, good to have you here. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you all checking in and saying hello. Going to get rid of this, and we're going to get right into what we need to look for parabolic trend trades and things of the nature. All right, so first off, I want to share with you all a little something about myself and my trading journey, learning this style of trading. One of the big things that I was doing early on was, hey, you know, I'm at the high of the day, I'm at the low of the day, I'm going to look for a long or I'm going to look for a short just based off of that information. And that used to really get me sucked into a lot of bad situations because I didn't understand the big picture and the templates in general. I didn't understand the templates, and I think more importantly, I didn't understand both sides of the trade. I know you all hear me preaching all the time about, you know, it looks like it's going to be a long trade based off of a certain type of setup that I'm searching for, but then I don't understand. I'm not looking for the other side. Well, what about the short? Could it be a short? And looking for information to prove both, because one of those situations is going to begin to play itself out. And if you understand both sides of the trade at all times, then you can kind of let one of the scenarios start to play out and you don't get caught. And what's happening right now on a lot of markets is these big parabolic moves, not just going short because you're at the high of the day, not just going long because you're at the low of the day or something like that. Understanding the templates is very, very, very important. All right. Now let's talk about parabolic trend trades real quick. What is a parabolic trend trade? You've seen me characterize it, or if you haven't seen those videos, I'm going to kind of explain it a little bit right now. A parabolic trend trade is when you have a sideways movement, you have a peak high, a peak low, and then a consolidation in the middle, and then you start to get some kind of ascending channel of some kind. All right, now these can present a lot of different ways in a lot of different areas of the chart. Normally or typically, you're looking for these to build over the course of 3 days, but knowing that the market is fractal, it does not have to take 3 days to take place. It could take place over the course of 3 hours or 3 sessions or something like that, which is what we've seen on a lot of pairs today, actually. And over the course of the past few weeks, we've been getting a lot of these big parabolic moves. And some of you might have felt a bit of pressure, or you might have been trying to trade the reversal at the wrong time and getting caught in these moves. So I'm going to try and explain a little bit today about what to look for these parabolic moves and the templates. So let's look at gold real quick. Number one, market structure. Market structure is massive on any of these trades that I've ever taken or ever take. Market structure is playing a massive role in my decision making. So on gold, for example, you have to have an understanding or a good idea of market structure in general and what the rules are for it. So if I were to look at gold and look at the levels, there was a break-in structure to the downside on gold. 110%, I would agree with that. They broke structure to the downside, but what does that mean? And actually, can somebody tell me, when they broke structure to the downside, what has that done for me as a trader trying to identify my levels? What is that going to do as far as minor and major levels? Can anybody tell me that? That'd be actually great, because then I could throw it up there real quick as well. All right, I know at least a few of you are probably typing this out. I do hope, and I hope some of you actually know the answer to it. But what it's going to do is we're making higher highs and higher lows, and at some point, they have to break structure back down to the downside. Now, that break to the downside could be a minor break. And when they do that, when they break structure down to the downside, what they are doing is they have created a new major high, all right? And when we think about market maker template and things like that, you see me draw this pattern: peak formation low, 3 levels of rise, peak formation high. A lot of times it'll present as like a first red day, and you get 3 levels of drop. Now, the thing with that is, this could be a major trend. We have a major trend up, they break structure down, we got some movement down. But what about all of the minor trend? What about all of the movements that make up all of these different levels? And it becomes, if I draw it with lines, a bit confusing, but at the same time, it kind of isn't, right? So they have a 3 push pattern going up, even just in this one move up. And then at some point, they're going to break structure down and give you 3 pushes back down, break structure back up, and continue to go higher. So you can kind of see where there's a bit of an overlay of the major trend, but then within that major trend, you'll have a series of minor swings. So when they break structure down, what they've done is they've created this major high. Cool, so we can identify that. And then when they break structure back up to the upside, coming off of this low down here, or probably even from over here, that is going to confirm now that we have a major low in place. All right. So what is happening right now? Well, we're in an uptrend, in a major uptrend, and we have a box essentially, and then now we have traded and we broke structure back to the upside, and we would be looking for them to make new highs, right? So once they come out of this major high, then you can expect them to extend it in some kind of 3 push pattern in most cases, or they'll just hit it. It could be 3 candles, to be honest. They could hit it, come up in 3 candles outside, and then maybe then you'll get the first red day and that start to the move back down, the larger move back down. But what's happened right now is they broke structure to the upside. We're making higher highs and higher lows. And then they give you this 3 push pullback. So let's take a look at what they've done here. You can see that they had a 3 peak pattern, and then this big move back down right here. They go into consolidation, and then it runs sideways. They come down, and they give you another level down, and then boom, they give you a 3rd level down. That's great, right? So I've talked about making sure that you're paying attention to both sides of the market and things like that, and understanding all of the different concepts that are associated with, okay, well, this is a 3 push pattern. That's great, but where are the traps going to be? Well, traps below push 2. That is always the rule. So if you have push 1, push 2, where are the traps taking place? It's happening under push 2. Why does that happen? Push 1 has traders' attention. Okay, well, we might be going short. But people need more confirmation. They need more. All right. This big move down, push 2, well, that's a pretty big down candle. That is the first time that people are probably actually taking action and taking those shorts. And then they're adding in or actually getting in super duper late at the worst possible place within push 3. So if we have traps below push 2, we have a Friday, Monday, Tuesday template in place right here. They have this big move down, and then they immediately go into consolidation in level 3 or in that third push. Now, you can see over here, what is part of the criteria for a parabolic trend trade? Peak formation low, peak formation high. So they've came in sideways, give you a peak formation low or just a low in general. They come in sideways, they spike the high and pull it back down inside. Now we have a peak low and a peak high, and now we have a consolidation on the inside. The next portion of the criteria is splitting the range. If you've ever seen a parabolic trend explanation where they have like that curve and they have base 1, 2, 3, and 4, now there's going to be a larger pattern in play, but within the pattern that we're looking at right here, looking at the templates, they've created this range, and then now they are going to work that range and then split it eventually, and that's where I look for that ascending channel. So once they split the range, you have this range right here, high and a low. They split it, and they start to ascend, and you can see that behavior here. All right. Now, what's the next thing that I need to look for? Now, I have one thing that I look for that is not a requirement, but I really like to see when it happens, and that is the first mouse. I like to see them come out to the top of this channel before actually going vertical. A lot of times they come out to the top first in order for them to stop hunt back down to the bottom of the channel, which is actually something that I do need to see. This is a requirement. And I intended to take this trade today. I actually missed all of the trades today. If you were on Discord, I had posted in there that I was watching gold, oil, NASDAQ. I focused in on gold and NASDAQ, and they went vertical without me. And I just let it go because that's, you want to position in before it does that. I wasn't going to FOMO in, and it left without me. But I was watching when they came out to the bottom of this channel for that W, essentially on the 1 minute chart, and we'll get down there in a second. So that I have to see this move to the downside or the outside of the channel before it goes vertical, before I'm allowed to actually enter into the market. A behavioral note, just looking within the channel that I look for, is the strong down close candles within this up move. And what am I looking for? I am looking for them to spike a candle down, immediately go back into consolidation and go the other way. So anytime that happens, I'm taking note of those candles and noting the behavior that happens next. And you can see that as they are climbing, they are spiking candles back down, making it look like, look, we have a bearish engulfing candle. Not an bearish engulfing candle here, but it is a down close candle. Sideways move, and then they continue to go higher. Why am I doing this? I am doing this because this is behavior that they are trapping shorts and then taking it away from them over and over again and not allowing those people to come back out of their positions, which is good if you want to go long looking at the setup. If it is a long setup and they are doing this, that gives me a lot more confidence in the setup itself. So let's go down to the 1 minute chart. We'll take a look at what happened leading into the actual entry for this. And it's kind of cool because even within this channel on a 1 minute chart, if we look and just observe this pattern that happens right here, it looks very similar to the pattern that has occurred over the course of 3 days. All right, so we have that down move, the ascension, and then the channel. And then we go down to the 1 minute chart, and you have that same exact pattern, the down move, the consolidation, and the ascension in the channel. All right. So let's take a look. We have market structure in play. They're making higher highs and higher lows, and they break structure back down to the downside. Now, on a 1 minute chart, what has that done? That has created this as a potential major high. Then they break structure back up to the upside over here. They break structure back up to the upside and then give you that nice 3 push pattern down, back outside of the channel, I was looking for the W down here, which I think I could actually argue that this probably was the W. Down, up. This is kind of a down candle, but it's not a down candle. That was the candle to enter on, but the pattern to me was not that great. I was looking for a better W, so I did not enter, and I was too late. By the time I even thought about entering, it had already gone vertical, and it was away from my hands. All right, also, this is 9:30 right here, which is perfect. So this trade did take place after 9:30. You can see that little time engulfment where they opened the candle, went straight down, and then immediately took it away from those people trying to go short once again, and then went vertical from that point, which is exactly how the trade should behave. All right, so hopefully that gives a little bit of insight into what to look for parabolic trend trades. If you didn't catch all of the notes, please, you can rewind the video and list them off one by one, because I did do them fairly in order. But now I'm going to get into the actual watch list portion of this stream. All right, before I go, though, I want to ask, does anybody have any questions about anything that I just went over having to do with parabolic trend trades? Because this pattern repeats. Although today was a much better pattern, this pattern repeats almost every single day, even if it is on a lower time frame. Now, the lower the time frame you go, the smaller the move you can expect. But if you do have these large 3-day patterns that start to develop, those obviously, like today, are the moves where you can expect a bit of a larger move. All right, so does anybody have any questions about anything that I just talked about before I move on? Good stuff, Jared. I appreciate it. All right, I'm going to get going. If you all do have a question or it comes to you a bit later, I will make sure to come back to it. Now, before I do keep going, I'm going to give myself a bit of a shameless plug real quick because I have worked so hard on it. I really do hope that people take advantage of the program and actually, take a look at it. Tomorrow, what is today? So on Friday, the pre-order for my course will be coming out. All right. The pre-order for the course will be coming out on Friday, and I've taken about 6-7 months to develop this course. I think it's fantastic. It's a crawl, walk, run style of learning, self-paced. It's very lengthy, but it is pretty good as far as the PDF goes, and then going through all the videos. So there's visual learners. If you want to listen to the videos or listen to the videos if you work better with listening and things like that, there's learning for that as well. There's also a study binder with all the examples and things like that. It's basically a course within the course. It's basically my playbook, all the types of trades that I take with examples and things like that, with cover pages explaining each trade setup, all of that stuff. The pre-order on Friday, if you're one of those first 100 people to purchase the course, you will get 10% off. I really do hope that you all enjoy it. How many hours in total for the course? So real quick, I'll just explain that real quick. There's, I think, about 3 or 4 hours worth of video that I've included within the course, specifically for the course. And then there are over 200 pages of PDF. There's homeworks for not every lesson, but all the important lessons. There's homeworks. There are quizzes to help you kind of retain information. And then, let's see, what else was there? Okay, so all of the YouTube videos, like all of my YouTube videos, obviously, those are free and here on YouTube, but they can be a little bit difficult to digest if you watch them out of order. So what I've done is for each lesson or associated lesson where there's YouTube content, I understand that YouTube content is free, but I wanted to put it in there and embed the links in there so that if you're going through and at any point you're going through the course and you're like, man, I still just don't quite understand this topic, there's a YouTube video associated and you can go get some additional reference with those videos, and hopefully that will help. So I really tried to think of everything that I possibly could to answer everybody's questions and help you all along on your trading journey. How much is the course going to be? On pre-order, it is $200, and on January 1st, once it's actually released, it will be $220, which admittedly I think is a pretty fair price for how much went into it. Okay, enough of that. Kind of a shameless plug, a little bit too lengthy. I do apologize if you're not even interested in the course. You're just sitting here listening to this. However, let's get into the actual watch list for this video. We can start off here on the NASDAQ, and as always, I'm looking for 3 things: signal days, market structure, and then, of course, looking for the opening range style of setups. We're going to be going over all of that today. So I need to start off with the opening range. We have Monday right here. That creates the opening range for the entire week. Boom, get that thrown up there, and then I'm going to mark off the close. How did it close? It closed right here. Okay, so what does that tell me? It's closed on the outside of the opening range, and the market only does three things: breakout trend, breakout reverse, or stay inside of a trading range. So looking tomorrow, a couple of things can happen. It has not stayed inside of a trading range. What could happen is we could get a retracement and a vertical move. We could also get a failed breakout where we're up pretty high. Maybe I come to the screen tomorrow and it's breaking down, making lower lows and lower highs. Concept of consolidation, coming back to that 50% or back down to the other side of the range. That's going to be the idea for tomorrow for this pair, just based off of the opening range. Now, let's go and take a look at market structure. What have they been doing? We obviously have higher highs and higher lows. To end the day or to finish the day, they made a higher high. And when they created this higher high, that is going to confirm a low. They have not quite pulled back in 2 candles, but that's okay. This is going to give me my end of day consolidation as well as my actual structural levels, the minor levels within this current uptrend. All right, so that's good for that. No breaks in the structure to the downside just yet. No worries. I'm sure it will come eventually, but as of right now, it has not happened. We do have 3 days of breakouts. I think we have a lot more than 3 days of breakouts, but that's okay. So I am going to label that here, and it just allows me to categorize where to put it. So I'm going to put this 3 days, previous day's high. All right, so I can categorize this setup and throw this up in that area. All right, let's go on to the US 30. Come over here. A fairly similar sight picture with the NASDAQ. Lots of days of breakouts, going vertical today. I'm going to mark off the market structure real quick. We have a higher high at the end of the day, very similar to the NASDAQ. A little bit more of a clear low, but that's okay. I'm going to throw this up there just like this, EODC, and mark off that close as well. We have a nice close on the outside of the opening range. Obviously, the previous day's high and low is the opening range for the week. So very similar. Tomorrow, is it going to be another up move, or is this some kind of vertical move on level 3? They consolidate, they break down, and maybe we'll see a move back down into the 50% or the other side of the range. No signal day other than those 3 days of breakouts. And I think that I am going to label off this breakout trader stops area, though, because this is an area where they have traded through a previous day's high very aggressively, very strongly. And then they have not retested it whatsoever, which means that breakout traders could still be in if they put a little buy stop up here and it broke and it went higher. They still have their stop sitting maybe at break even, or now they've moved them up and maybe they're holding them up in this area. I'm going to put this into 3 days of breakouts with the NASDAQ. Oh man, I really need to fix this real quick. Let's see if I can't shift this over a little bit, so you all can still see. There we go. Okay, let's move on to oil. Oil today was very interesting, going vertical again. Again, sideways consolidation, peak formation low, peak formation high. They trade back down into the low, and then they start to ascend. Nice little channel, goes vertical. Very nice. Let's zoom out. We'll take a look. We have 3 days of breakouts. Breakouts from last Thursday, breakouts from today on Monday. Yesterday, excuse me. I don't think we have 3 days breakouts just yet. We only have 2, and they have not hit the previous day's high from yesterday. So I'm actually just going to mark this off as it is, as an inside day. I need to look left and figure out where my levels are. So they made this higher high over here, and that is going to confirm this low down here. And then that is going to be my high up here. So it's a fairly large box at this point. Opening range, a very wide range opening range, which is certainly something to be studying. If you have not already, or if you didn't even know that that was something that you needed to be studying, the opening range for the week presents in a few different ways. It's either tightly consolidated, it could be an inside day, or it's one of these very wide range Mondays, and that is something to be studying and to be watching and looking for. All right, So inside day is my signal day for tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We can look at the current price movements within this current little uptrend, this little minor uptrend here. But I'm not even going to bother. I think these levels, being an inside day, are the only two levels that I'm really going to be willing to trade from. But what I will do is mark off my end of day consolidation real quick, something like this, and then move on to the next pair, EODC. All right. Moving a bit quick, but if anybody has any questions as I'm moving along, as always, I'm very happy to answer them for you. It could be anything, as long as it has something to do with trading. I will be happy to answer. All right, we're going to put this up into the inside day category, and we are going to go to Euro USD. All right, we had a inside day over here on this Monday, and they triggered the high of that inside bar first. So one of the first things I'm going to do real quick is just mark off where the stops would be if the market were to reverse and come back down for those stops. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. It doesn't even have to be the day after that, but maybe in a few weeks' time, that could be a target that I want to be paying attention to, so I'm going to make sure to throw that up there. All right, so we had the inside day, and then we had this move up on Tuesday. Monday itself was the inside day. Like I said, something to study. These are templates, reoccurring behavior. Let's see here. We had the previous week's high from last week sitting up here, and we're consolidating currently below that, which could be an indication that it's either going to be an inside week or they're going to go vertical through that area. So I'm going to mark this off, previous week's high. All right, whenever you start to get consolidations under a level, that could be an indication that they are leaving a gap here and allowing the market to build up sort of momentum, building some orders, right? They're trying to get people to short. They're trying to get people to short, and then it goes vertical through the high, dragging those shorts higher and higher. And then, of course, hitting stops, hitting breakout traders on that money sitting over there. I need to figure out the structure. What is going on with the structure? All right, we were making higher highs and higher lows over here. Obviously, they broke structure back down to the downside, confirming this as a major high. Within this pullback down, they broke structure back up to the upside, confirming this as a major low, which essentially is the range for the week. That is our major high and major low as of right now. All right, within this current minor uptrend, you can see a bit of higher highs and higher lows. They pulled back here, and they have not broke that high yet. The last place that they did do that was over here, giving us a slightly smaller box compared to this much larger box, and I'm going to use this as my end of day consolidation. Okay, and what I just did was I looked in this minor uptrend. They made a high, they pulled back in two candles, and then they continued making higher highs, which confirmed that low. And like I said, they have not broke the current high yet, so therefore that is my range. Is that a peak formation high on Monday for oil? Yes, absolutely. Peak formation high. Swing high. I don't really, I use the term peak formation because a lot of people are coming from, from Stacey's channel. You have peak highs, valley lows, things like that, or Steve Morrow, he uses that term as well. I find peak formations to be relatively confusing, so I kind of stray away from it a little bit. I prefer to just use swings, swing high, swing low, however you'd like to view it, but peak formations becomes a little bit confusing in my opinion. But yes, that is would be considered a peak formation high. Stash team. Good stuff. Yep. Let's see. Only trade inside Monday opening range for the week. I'm actually confused what you're asking. Is that day 2 on Euro USD, Monday day 1? Let's go back to Euro USD real quick. I need to zoom. If I need to do 3-day cycle things, I'm going to have to zoom out. We have day 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 3 was an inside day, breakout, so 1. Tomorrow is going to be day 2. So hopefully you followed along with what I just did. I started back over here on this Friday. Failed breakout day 1, 2, and 3. Confirmed breakout, reset the cycle day 1, 2, and 3. And then, of course, I've just gone from there. Day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 3 was an inside day. Day 3 cannot be an inside day. Move that over, day 1. And then tomorrow will be day 2. Okay, I'm going to put Euro USD. I think I'm going to put this into the squeeze category. The way that this is behaving... actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to put this in the pump and dump and move on. We're going to look at Euro JPY. Oh, man, this is close. So one of my least favorite closes for a Tuesday is when they close really far outside of the opening range, which seems to be some of the pairs have done that this week because a lot of times they'll do this 3 levels of rise or something like that outside of a range. And then a lot of times or sometimes it will spend the course of the entire week just slowly pulling back. You keep thinking, oh, it's going to be a continuation. You keep thinking, oh, it's going to be a reversal, but it's very choppy. I really don't care for that style of template. But what I can do is at least label off the details because tomorrow it could look a bit better. And then I would change my mind and make decisions based off of that. All right, we had the previous week's high. They broke that high today. So I am going to label that off because that is relevant and important information. All right, previous week's high. Then they came up, made a high, they made a low, they made a higher high, and then they made a lower low. So they did break structure back down to the downside, creating a major swing high right here. And then they have came back down a few times, making lower lows and lower highs. We have this high right here. And then we do have this low as well. This is going to be a good place for an end-of-day consolidation. EODC, even though this is just a minor trend sort of pullback, you know, they do have, sometimes they will pull back quite far. They come back down, grab these stops. If this was some kind of break-in structure to the upside, then this might be the first mouse, and they might stop hunt back down low before actually making those up moves. All right, so those will be things to be watching. Any other signal days? I had this inside day over here on Monday. They broke the high first, which means that there could be stops or are stops now sitting down at the low of the week. So I'm going to make sure that I put those there as well. I think that's my only signal day. For those of you interested in the 3-day cycle, we have day 1 on Thursday, day 2 on Friday, and then day 3 on Monday. Monday is an inside day and cannot be a day 3. Therefore, Tuesday is now day 1, and tomorrow is going to be day 2. Okay. I'm going to put this up into pump and dump as well. Noticing that close outside the opening range. Again, market only does 3 things: breakout, trend, breakout, reverse, or stay in a trading range. Right now, it is broke out, but will it continue the trend, or will there be maybe a large pullback? It could be a stop hunt or a reversal altogether. So we will see. Hello. Okay, we are going to go to Euro GBP, and we're going to take a look. First thing I noticed right off the bat is that we had this inside day today, Tuesday. We had this inside day. We have a failed breakout from the low of, actually, it was not quite the low of last week, but they did come back down and break down below previous day's low. And now they've traded back up towards the high. Monday actually breaking the high of the previous week, which seems to be a common trend for some of these pairs. Okay, previous week's high has been broken. And then over the course of all day today, it looks like they've done some sort of pullback, right? And then we have the inside day. So what I can do with this one is put this into inside day. Let's look at structure real quick. It looks like there was a major high in place. Obviously, the high of last week, they broke, they went higher. That is going to confirm to me that this is now going to be a low down here. And when they broke structure back down to the downside, that confirmed that this is, in fact, the major high. This is where it has fallen. This is where it is in place at. All right, within this down move, we have a series of swings, lower lows, and lower highs. They did actually break structure back up to the upside here, which to me is going to move my major low from all the way down there up to this area here. Okay, so this is major high, major low. This is my box as of right now. We traded on the inside of Monday, which means we're still inside the opening range for the week. And I'm going to mark off my end of day consolidation, something like this. I think that I'm going to use something like that. Okay. Boom. Is this Stacey Burke trading strategy? That is who I learned from, yes, but it is I would say a variation from it. It's all from my own perspective and the things that I do. The setups I learned from him, but then I've added a lot of my own things in there to make my own trading a bit more fluent, to know exactly what I'm looking for, and that's what we're going over. Monday is always day one within the week. Monday, day one, Tuesday, day two, Wednesday, day three. But if you're talking about the 3-day cycle, that's a little bit different, all right? 3-day cycle is a bit different in the sense that when you have a failed breakout at the high of the week, that's going to restart the cycle. And you can see that's what happened over here. We had day one, 3-day cycle, day two, 3-day cycle, day three, 3-day cycle, and the vertical parabolic move. So you get day 1 and 2 creates a box. Day 3 will usually be the move of some kind. Cameron, good to have you here. I appreciate the subscription. And we have the same name, so I guess it was fate, you know. Anyways, so let's move on. US dollar CAD. Lots of days of breakouts. Very first thing that comes to... All right, this is a good one. I knew that this was going to be something I want to talk about this afternoon because I saw it developing and what was happening. I've seen this template enough times to know that the way that yesterday, Monday, closed was going to be a bit problematic for people who are trying to go long today. Let's take a look at why. Number one, we're in a downtrend. That's pretty evident, right? We've been going down. But then we get a first green day. Large dump, first green day. Next day, you're looking for those longs. I totally agree. I am not arguing that fact. However, if you've ever seen my first green day videos, I observed the close and I identified one of the things that I don't like to see is when they close at the absolute extreme of the day or whenever they close in a certain way after a first green day. I'm not really a fan. This big spike up off the low and then the close up high, leaving all of this space to get back down to that low, I had a feeling was going to be problematic. So let's take a look at this template and what's happened. You get your end of day consolidation after that first green day. This was the first green day here. We had large dump, first green day. Big rectangle consolidation. London makes a lower low and begins to descend in this nice little channel here. You can kind of see. All right. So ideally, what you want to see is 3 pushes back down into the low if this was going to happen. And my invalidation right here at 8:30 in the morning, they made a lower low. They closed a 15-minute bar below that low. And already I didn't really care for this because of the close and how it was coming back down. It looks like they have trapped longs up here. First green day kind of trap, and now they've descended further. They've made a lower low. Now what has happened is they've closed on the outside of the opening range. So we have an opening range breakout currently. And again, the same thing. Is tomorrow going to be a continuation of that? Or is it going to be a breakout? You know, I come to the screen and they've pulled up off the low and started to do something like this. It could be something like that, right? We had a first green day trap. They hit the stops first before actually going vertical on the following day. That is always a possibility. A lot of times people will stop watching because it's done this, and then they come back to the screen a few days later and they see it's gone vertical, and it's like, oh my goodness, I should have just kept watching. So I will be watching this, at least taking a glance at it, but that is kind of what I've got for this right now. They have not hit previous day's high yet. They've just been making lower lows, so we've got 1, 2, 3 days of breakouts now currently in the market. We actually have 4 as of today. So I'm going to label that off real quick. 3 days previous day's low. Oh, well, that's not spelled right. Let's get that in there. Oh, boy. There we go. I've got my opening range market structure. They made a lower low. All right, we were making lower lows and lower highs over here. They made an equal low. And then they never actually broke structure back up to the upside, all right? Because we had this low here. They went lower. That created this as a high. Another thing that I'm always looking for with these first green days is, does it break structure to the upside? Because if it does that, then I know exactly what to look for. If they break structure to the upside, I need 3 pushes. That's pretty easy. All right? So there was no break to the upside. They made a lower low, which is actually going to confirm this as a major high. And then now that they have pulled back down into the low, they have not broke back up to the upside yet, which means that I can just mark this off as my end of day consolidation and move on. All right. I don't know where my major low is going to land yet until they break structure back up to the upside. And once they do that, I can mark this off as a major low. All right. I'm going to put this in 3 days of breakouts. Check over here with you all. 2 different counts. Yep. Monday's always day 1 of the weekly template. You can also have 3-day template. Yeah, exactly. So that's why I try not to say anything about like Monday's day 1, Tuesday's day 2. I don't ever really say that. Even with like the 3-day templates where, first red day, first green day, I usually will refer to it as a math equation, A plus B equals C, because that seems to be a bit less confusing than me going through and saying everything is day 1, 2, and 3. I'll actually end up confusing myself if I do that, right? There's too many different kinds of day 1, 2, and 3s, so I'm just going to continue to kind of do it this way. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we've got 69 in here, and I would actually greatly appreciate if you just take 2 seconds out of your day real quick, throw that mouse on over to the like button. It really does help me. It does help the stream, and I do greatly appreciate it. But I am going to move on from this point. Let's go on to the Swiss. Go on to... Oh, what was this? I was expecting CAD to go up after first green day on Monday. Yep. Hey, rewind the stream just a little bit because I just talked about the close and what to look for as far as structure goes and how it closes. Being aware that when it pumps up off the low like that, a lot of times it will roll over. You got to be careful. All right, so we got Monday is the opening range on this pair, and we've closed pretty far outside of that range. Again, is this a breakout? Is this going to roll over and continue tomorrow, or is it going to spend time consolidating for a move back up? You know, we have really no idea at this point. But we are making lower lows and lower highs. This is minor trend stuff. They're making lower lows and lower highs. They've made this lower low, and now we have this high up here. So that's giving us our box. I'm going to mark off my end-of-day consolidation down a bit lower because it's a smaller box within a larger box, and of course we do have a much larger box. If I mark off my major trend level, we have this up move over here. They're making higher highs and higher lows. And then at some point, they broke structure back down to the downside and started making lower lows again. So I'm going to mark this off up here as my major high. Make sure I'm not incorrect. They were making lower lows, lower high. Yep, okay, that's good. So that's my larger box. I've got a smaller box within this much larger box, and of course the medium-sized box in there as well. As far as signal days go, I think that we are not going to have one. We had this inside day. No, I don't think so. All right, so I'm just going to put this into pump and dump and move on to US dollar Japanese yen. Man, we haven't seen any first red day or first green days today. That's disappointing, if I'm being honest. Usually, whenever I see like on a Tuesday, first red day or first green day, that gives me a lot going into Wednesday. Makes me feel pretty good. Not seeing any of those. There are some other things that I'm going to be watching. NASDAQ, gold and oil, always my number one. But would have liked to have seen some kind of better signal day on those pairs. All right, so Friday, inside day, they've hit the high of the inside bar first, which leads me to believe that there are still stops sitting down here, inside bar trader stops. Next thing I'm going to look at is going to be the opening range for this week. So I'm going to throw that up there as well, opening range, and then we're going to mark off the close. So we've marked off the close. They've closed on the outside of the opening range, which is good. Will tomorrow be a trend continuation, or will this rollover break down, come back down to maybe the 50% or the other side of that range? Maybe they're going to shoot to come grab these stops. Okay, let me zoom out a bit. All right, so we've been going down. That's awesome. We've been going down. Higher highs and higher lows currently, as of right now. Within this current trend, we're making higher highs and higher lows. And then they broke structure down to the downside, making lower lows and lower highs currently going into the end of the day. All right, so this lower low here is going to give me a high. They pulled off the low in 2 candles. That's going to give me a low. And that is going to be my end of day consolidation leading into tomorrow. All right. Take a look here. We have this consolidation. Hit to the high 1, 2. And, we have been in this pretty big down move. So we're in a down trend. And now they've spiked back up pretty far. So maybe this is a, 3 days of rise or something like that for the move back down through the major low, which is all the way down here. All right. This break back down to the downside, I think, is going to confirm a major high for me, or at least give me a level in general. There we go. I think that gave up on US CAD. Yes, I'm glad that you said that. So that lower low, or hitting the low of the day, or low of the week, whatever, closing that 15-minute bar, that is an invalidation essentially for those first green days for me. Tends to say it without caring. Yeah. Trust me, Brian, it confused me as well, and that's why I teach it this way. I'm certainly not saying anything bad about him, not even a little bit. I've just found that it's a little bit easier to teach in this manner. Okay, so US dollar, Japanese yen. I'm going to put this into pump and dump as well, which seems to be the common trend for some of these yen pairs, euro pairs. They all seem to be kind of in that category. Let's go on to gold. Like I already said, this is a pretty interesting pair. The high of the previous week is still up there. They have not taken that out yet. Could be interesting for tomorrow. You know, we're consolidating below a level without taking it out. Could come into play. We had an inside day on Monday, so an inside day opening range for the week. And then we have traded up through the high of that inside bar, which now leads me to believe that there are stops down at the low of the week if that comes into play maybe later on. Alrighty then. All right, we also have breakout trader stops where they have gone vertical through a level and then not came back down to retest that area yet. Just always making sure that I mark off where the other side of the trade currently is so I can get the full story or the full picture. It really helps when I come to the screen tomorrow and I don't have to take all these notes in my session. All right, so making higher highs and higher lows as of right meow. They made this higher high right here, and then actually that was a one candle pullback, so that's not necessarily a break-in structure to the downside based off of my market structure rules that I use. So this higher high right here is going to make, I think this is going to be, I think we're just on the inside, really. Because we were making higher highs, higher lows. They broke structure down, and then they broke back up to the upside over here. So my major low is all the way down here, which is a fairly large box. That's my box for the week, though, or at least my major structural levels. I'm going to mark off my end-of-day consolidation about like this, because this is going to be all of the information that I need going into tomorrow's session. Gold ran it yesterday, caught it all. Fantastic. Love to hear that. It's always good to hear people doing well. It's even better. I've had a lot of people message me in the past few weeks, sending me certificates of their funded accounts and telling me the information that you taught me has got me funded and I'm getting my first payout and things like that. I've had a lot of people start messaging me that. And as a person in an educational position, that is the absolute best news that I could ever receive, to see people actually benefiting from the information. So that's fantastic. Okay, I'm going to put this into the... Oh, do we have any signal days? No, we don't. Yesterday was a first green day on Monday. Okay, I'm going to put this into pump and dump as well. And we're going to go to pound dollar, looking fairly similar. This actually looks very similar to gold a little bit, where they had this inside day over here on Friday. They hit the low of the inside bar first, and now we have the high of the inside bar up here with the stops still in place. Could be an area where they're going to reach for before they reverse, or if they reverse. Fairly large down move. Look at this trap volume now at low of the week. They come down below previous day's low Friday and then reverse. This could be considered, peak formation, ascending channel here. Oh, where'd my channel go? There we go. Looking at this channel, breaks out, starts to ascend, starts to accelerate, and they do the same exact thing over again. You can see those down close candles in an up move, acting as an area where they're trapping shorts, and then they go vertical into the New York session, which became just a big trap up there. They just got real choppy. So have they hit the last week's high? They have not. The last week's high is still sitting up there. As far as major levels go, let's see. High, that's my major high, but I don't think... No, so they did break structure back up to the upside. So this is going to be my box. This is a fairly wide box for a currency pair, but it's all right. I'm just going to mark this off. End of day consolidation. I think I'm going to do it something like this. Last swing high, last swing low of the New York session, EODC. And that's, I think, all I can really do. We have closed on the outside of the opening range, so I'm going to highlight that so that way I'm aware this could be something to look for tomorrow. But this template, or a lot of the templates this week, are looking fairly nice. Nice dump for a large pump. Hopefully later on this week, maybe we'll get a large pump for a large dump. Okay. That's concluding everything that I've gone over. I'm going to put this into pump and dump as well and go to you all. Does anybody have any questions about trading in general? Anything they would like to know, anything they've been confused about? This is your time to ask. This is my time to answer. I do appreciate all of you tuning in, though. I think it's been a pretty good stream so far. I think I already said this, but the video on, let's see here, trend trades. No, I think trend trades is next. I have a video coming out on Friday, though, 7 a.m. It's a little different. I tried something new, made it a little bit more interesting. Hopefully you all enjoy it. You explained so well, Tesh. Well, feel free to subscribe, and I do weekly videos every Saturday. I've been trying to do every Saturday. Holiday's been a bit busy, so I do apologize for that. I saw the channel. Hey, so when you see those channels form, number one, I like tightly wound or tightly consolidated channels. You see how tight this is? I mean, they are just running it up real tight. Same thing with this. Whenever the channel gets really wide like this, I have found that those parabolic moves a lot of times will not play out. All right, this is a wide range. It kind of bounces and pinballs back and forth, and I don't like those. Just whenever you get these channels here, identify your peaks, identify the channel, and then look for those down close candles in the up move and observe the behavior leading into your equity market open. You can see that this one went vertical just after 3:30 a.m., so the equity market open for the London session. So it all worked out. What's the difference between BOS and BIS? Break-in structure, break-of structure. And this is kind of confused because I think that ICT or somebody like that teaches it different. A break-in structure, in the way that I use structure, or the way that I've named things or have things named, whenever you're making higher highs and higher lows, the first time they make that lower low, break-in structure. A break of structure is when they continue that move. So we have a break in structure, or a directional change, or a potential directional change. And then when they make that second move, right? So basically a trend continuation move, that would be a break of structure. Have you ever considered doing a live trading lab? John, I am still going to do live trading here on YouTube. I do live trading over on Discord pretty frequently. But I have been working up the confidence to do it over here on YouTube. You have to understand that trading in my own bubble is stress-free. But when I have lots of other people watching and I start to get that need or that feeling like I need to take action, or I need to do something for the audience, that becomes an issue, and it will affect my trading. But I've been practicing over on Discord, getting better at trading in front of other people. It's going pretty well. So I'm probably going to start here on YouTube fairly soon. Mastering a particular setup is a big issue for me because everything seems intertwined. How do I solve this issue? Jeremiah, I would start with first red day, first green day. Study them. Find all of the templates. Create yourself a study binder. Find every first green day, every first red day that you can find, and provide context. Give a weekly view of what it looked like leading into that setup, and then zoom into only the 3 days leading up to the actual trade entry. And then make sure that you're including all of the ones that don't work out, like the one on CAD, right? The one where it created a really nice first green day template, but then it rolls over. Like, make sure you're including those, because that shows you what could happen and what details led up to this rolling over and not going vertical. All right. So start with one setup. Just get really good at identifying and finding first red and first green day. You don't even have to be a professional at trading them necessarily. Just be really good at knowing what to look for. Do that for your trading binder. Set up your little cover page or whatever with everything that you're looking for, everything that you need to see. As many examples as you can possibly find with all of the details within your charting, and then move on to another setup, and then kind of master identifying that one as well. see here. There's no other questions, though, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to end this stream here. You all have been fantastic, and I really do appreciate whenever you all are, kind of participating. It makes it a little bit more enjoyable for me, and it also does help the stream as well. I really appreciate all of you tuning in. Like I said, Friday video coming out, as well as the announcement for the course. I have the pre-order. It will be on pre-order on Friday. You get 10% off if you want to partake in that. If not, of course, I will always continue to provide the free content here on YouTube. Discord, if you want to join that community, we have over 4,000 members now. I think over 4,100 people. All of them trading relatively the same. Fantastic community to be in. Very active from what I've heard compared to other Discord communities. Not a lot of spam. No spam, really, because I'm pretty good about it. And the other moderators are good about keeping that down. Fantastic place to be. Like I said, appreciate you all. I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.